Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Vrindavan Chandrodaya Vrindavan Chandrodaya Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Jaya Vrindavan Dham, Vrindavan Dham, Vrindavan Dham, Jaya Vrindavan Dham. Jaya Nitai Gauranga, Jaya Nitai Gauranga, Jaya Nitai Gauranga, Jaya Nitai Gauranga. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharya Stottar Shatashi Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada ISKCON Samsthapakacharya Savior the whole world Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottama Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 1, questions by Vidura. He has met Uddhava and he is asking some questions for our benefit. Text number 43. Nunam Dripanam Tri मदोत्पथानां नूनं नृपाणां त्रिमदोत्पथानां महीं मुहुः चालयतां चमूभिः महीं मुहुश्चालयतां चमूभिः वधात् प्रपन्न आरती अर्ति जिहीर्षया ईशः वधात् प्रपन्नार्ति जिहीर्षयेषो अपि उपैक्षत अघं भगवान् कुरूणाम् अप्युपैक्षताघं भगवान् कुरूणाम् नूनं नृपाणां त्रिमदोत्पथानां महीं मुहुश्चालयतां चमूभिः वधात् प्रपन्नार्ति जिहीर्षयेषो अप्युपैक्षताघं भगवान् कुरूणाम् नूनं नृपाणां त्रिमदोत्पथानां महीं मुहुश्चालयतां मदोभिः वधात् प्रपन्नार्ति जिहीर्षयेषो अप्युपैक्षताघं भगवान् कुरूणाम् नूनं नृपाणां त्रिमदोत्पथानां महीं मुहुश्चालयतां चमूभिः वधात् प्रपन्नार्ति जिहीर्षयेषो उपैक्षताघं भगवान् कुरूणाम् नूनं द्विमानां विमदोत्पथानां चालयतां चमूभिः वधात् प्रपन्नार्ति जिहीर्षयेषो अप्युपैक्षताघं भगवान् कुरूणाम् नूनं. Of course, Nripana of the kings, three. Sanskrit and English are the same. Mada utpathanam, going astray out of false pride. Mahim, earth. Muhu, constantly. Chalayatam, agitating. Chamobhihi, my movement of soldiers. Vadhat, from the act of killing. Prapanna, surrendered. Artijihirshaya, willing to relieve the distress of the sufferers. Ishaha, the Lord. Api, in spite of. Upaikshata, weighted. Agham, offenses. Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord. Kuruna, of the Kurus. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The translation as follows. Despite His being the Lord and being always willing to relieve the distress of sufferers, He, Krishna, refrained from killing the Kurus, although they committed all sorts of sins, and although He saw other kings constantly agitating the earth by their strong military movements carried out under the dictation of three kinds of false pride. Please repeat this translation after me. Despite His being the Lord and being always willing to relieve the distress of sufferers, He, Krishna, refrained from killing the Kurus, although they committed all sorts of sins, and although He saw other kings constantly agitating the earth by their strong military movements carried out under the dictation of three kinds of false pride. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. As declared in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord appears in the mortal world to execute His much-needed mission of killing the miscreants and giving protection to the suffering faithful. In spite of that mission, Lord Krishna tolerated the insult to Draupadi by the Kurus and the injustices perpetrated against the Pandavas, as well as insults to Himself. The question may be raised, why did He tolerate such injustices and insults in His presence? Why did He not chastise the Kurus immediately? When Draupadi was insulted in the assembly by the Kurus, by their attempt to see her naked in the presence of all, the Lord protected Draupadi by supplying an unlimited length of clothing. But He did not chastise the insulting party immediately. This silence of the Lord did not mean, however, that He excused the offenses of the Kurus. There were many other kings on earth who had become very proud of three kinds of possessions: wealth, education, and followers. And they were constantly agitating the earth by movements of military strength. The Lord was just waiting to get them together on the battlefield of Kurukshetra and kill them all at one time, just to make a shortcut in His killing mission. Godless kings or heads of state, when puffed up by advancement of material wealth, education, and increase of population, always make a show of military strength and give trouble to the innocent. When Lord Krishna was personally present, there were many such kings all over the world, and He thus arranged for the battle of Kurukshetra. In His manifestation of Vishvarupa, the Lord expressed His mission of killing as follows. I have willingly descended on the earth in my capacity of inexorable time in order to decrease the unwanted population. I shall finish all those who have assembled here except you, the Pandavas. This killing does not wait for you to take part in it. It is already arranged. all will be killed by me. If you want to become famous as the hero of the battlefield and thus enjoy the booty of war, then, O Savyasachin, just become the immediate cause of this killing and thus take the credit. I have already killed all the great warriors, Bhishma, Drona, Jayadratha, Karna, and many other great generals. Do not worry, fight the battle and be famous as a great hero. These are all words paraphrased as Krishna's mission from the Bhagavad Gita, 11th chapter, verses 32, 33 and 34. The Lord always wants to see his devotee as the hero of some episode which he himself performs. He wanted to see his devotee and friend Arjuna as the hero of the battle of Kurukshetra, and thus he waited for all the miscreants of the world to assemble. That and nothing else is the explanation of his waiting. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, continuing from yesterday, this is another verse spoken by Vidura to Maitreya. In the previous verse, Vidura had said, the activities of the personality of Godhead, which are like those of a man in this mortal world, are bewildering to others. But I know of his greatness by his grace, and thus I am happy in all respects. So the activities of the Supreme Lord, when he appears as an incarnation, are not at all understandable by a non-devotee. Not only the activities, but the very personality of Godhead, Krishna. His name, his form, his qualities, his activities, his paraphernalia, his devotees, his purposes only can be understood by devotees of Krishna. Nobody else can understand. At the same time, the activities or any feature of the personality of Godhead is also bewildering to the non-devotees. Always it is bewildering. For the devotees, the Lord reveals, and that's how the devotees know about the various attributes of the Supreme Lord. And Vidura also had mentioned in the previous verse that he was lamenting the unfortunate position of Dhritarashtra, his brother. And he also knew that his brother was unnecessarily giving trouble to the Pandavas. And what is bewildering about Krishna, specifically one instance Vidura is citing, that even though Krishna was personally present and he is always willing to relieve the distresses of sufferers in this world, and he even declares in the Bhagavad Gita, my mission is to kill the miscreants, to protect the devotees, and to re-establish the principles of religion. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami. I appear yuge yuge, in every yuga, different incarnations. But still, Krishna did not kill the Kurus apparently while they were engaged in committing all kinds of sinful activities, especially for the sake of giving trouble to the Pandavas. Not just giving trouble. Duryodhana's plan was to kill the Pandavas. This is a typical demoniac mentality. Whoever comes in the way of a demon, the demon wants to simply eliminate them. This is demoniac nature. So typical of this demoniac nature is Duryodhana. And Duryodhana was also not alone. He was supported by his brothers and his father, Dhritarashtra. Also, not only Duryodhana and his immediate family members, but also the other demoniac kings who had overburdened the earth, they were also simply giving trouble to the innocent people, to the devotees, by increasing their military strength and oppressing the devotees and the innocent people, by also displaying their military strength. And all this out of false pride. False pride. So here the description is 3 kinds of false pride. That is explained by Prabhupada in the purport. What are the 3 kinds of false pride? Becoming proud of their material wealth, becoming proud of their education, again material knowledge or material education, and becoming proud of their followers. So these 3 kinds of false pride, many demoniac kings had become very puffed up and were unnecessarily harassing the innocent people and especially the devotees. And among them, all the demoniac kings. This Duryodhana, he was the most envious of the Pandavas, the devotees. So why did Krishna not immediately kill these demons, especially Duryodhana and Pati? Especially when the Pandavas were repeatedly harassed. Repeatedly harassed. So it's very, very mysterious that the Pandavas, and Pandavas are devotees of Krishna. What kind of devotees? They are devotees who have taken exclusive protection of Krishna. It's not that God or Krishna is one of their protectors. Typically it happens in this material world, pious people, they are not against God. They are God-fearing, they pray to God, they are obedient to God's laws, they worship God, but if they are not pure devotees, they don't take exclusive shelter of God, Krishna. They always have so many different shelters. So therefore, such pious people who are not pure devotees, they will also worship some devatas and seek some protection from the devatas, or seek some favors of the devatas. Just like it is typically seen, the Hindu temples. It is more prominent in the West, but even in India, in some places, the so-called Hindu temple, especially nowadays, modern temples, they will not have just one deity. It's like the supermarket concept, no? Convenience of all kinds of worshippers of different personalities. And not only all kinds of worshippers, even one person will want to worship Shiva for something, Durga for something else, Ganesha for something else, Krishna even for something else. So they will establish a deity of Krishna, they will establish deity of Shiva, deity of Durga, deity of Ganesha. And anyway, these deities are authorized in the very scriptures, Shiva, Durga, Ganesha, and Krishna. But if somebody has a requirement of something which is not authorized, that also they are willing to accommodate, because they are being broad-minded, so-called broad-minded. So this is a total misconception, misunderstanding of who is God, who are the devatas, of whom we should take protection or shelter, who can give us protection. That's a more fundamental question one should ask. Can the devatas really protect me? when I am in danger? What happens at the time of death? No Devata can protect you. At the time of annihilation of this world, the Devatas themselves have to die. And in the Bhagavatam, this is clearly explained in the description of the pastime of the pure devotee Ambarish Maharaj. You see, Durvasa Muni, very powerful mystic yogi, and he was proud of his power. So, when he became a guest of Ambarish Maharaj, and he was received very well, but he was expecting that Ambarish Maharaj will not only treat him as a respected guest, who is also a saintly person, but also he wanted Ambarish Maharaj to treat him in an exclusive way. So when Ambarish Maharaj was about to break a fast, Ekadashi fast, and he was supposed to wait for his guest to actually first be honored before he could break the fast. But the time was running out, so Ambarish Maharaj, as a devotee, he anyway broke the fast because he wanted to properly observe the Ekadashi Vrata in order to please the Supreme Lord. Devotees, whatever they do, they always do everything for pleasing the Supreme Lord, the pure devotees. So Ambarish Maharaj, he had no necessity of getting any favor by properly observing the Vrata, Ekadashi Vrata. The materialistic persons or those who are not pure devotees, they may observe a Vrata for some specific benefit. And if they don't observe the Vrata properly, they don't get the benefit. So, pure devotees, they have nothing to ask from the Supreme Lord, no favor. They do not want any benefit because they are fully surrendered to the Supreme Lord. They are fully taken care of. They are completely dependent, and the Supreme Lord lovingly actually maintains them, takes care of them, protects them, and is ever looking for opportunity to serve them. This is what is confidential information in the Bhagavatam. That the devotees serve the Supreme Lord, and the Lord is engaged in serving his devotees. Though he has nothing to do, and everything is carried out by his multifarious energies, but still he is active. And what is he active? What does he do being active? He simply is engaged in serving his devotees. As much as the devotees are always engaged in serving him, and both of them do it simply out of love for each other. So anyway, the the materialistic persons who are anyway in complete ignorance, and even the spiritualists who are non-devotees, they don't have complete understanding of the absolute truth. Especially they lack the understanding of the absolute truth as the personality of Godhead. So they misunderstand the Supreme Lord. And many times they make the big mistake of equating the Devatas, the powerful Devatas, with the Supreme Lord. And that is an offense. Yastu Narayanam Devam Brahmarudradi Daivataihi Samatvenaiva Viksheta Sapashandi Bhaved Dhruvam. The scriptures declare, if somebody considers, equates the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana or Krishna or Vishnu, with even the most powerful of Devatas, Brahma and Shiva, then such a person who equates like this, he is to be considered Pashandi. Pashandi means an atheist. Even though he may be well versed in the Vedas, even though he may be a pious person, even though he may be worshipping Krishna, but still, if he equates, then he is actually an atheist. So, what is the real principle of theism, principle of having faith in or having devotion to Krishna? What is real devotion to Krishna? That is understanding Krishna as Asamordhva. He is the Supreme Personality, and nobody is equal to him, nobody is greater than him. So without this understanding and without proper guidance, without adopting the proper process to know Krishna, the non-devotees, they are misled, they have so many misconceptions, and ultimately they don't get the protection that they expect from their protectors. Like the Devatas fail to give protection, and this is amply illustrated in that pastime of Ambarish Maharaj, where Durvasa Muni, he felt insulted that Ambarish Maharaj could break the fast, Vrata, Ekadashi Vrata, before honoring his important guest, Durvasa Muni. So Durvasa Muni wanted to show off his power, his mystic power. So he created one demon out of a strand of his hair using one mantra. And that demon was supposed to harass Ambarish Maharaj. But as soon as he created that demon, immediately Vishnu's Sudarshan Chakra came and killed that demon instantaneously. It was almost like instantaneous. And then that Sudarshan Chakra did not stop at that. Began to chase this Durvasa Muni. threatened to also kill Durvasa Muni. So then Durvasa Muni thought, oh, my life is in danger. I had done some big mistake. Then he thought he can use his mystic power to escape. So he started running away. But the Sudarshan Chakra would not leave him. It was chasing him wherever he went. So then he realized he cannot escape by hiding himself in some remote place. So then he began to seek shelter of some powerful devatas. And none of the devatas could actually protect him, including Brahma and Shiva. But Shiva gave him a suggestion. Said, if you really want relief, you want to save yourself, better go to Vishnu. Because Sudarshan Chakra is controlled by whom? By Vishnu. So better go and seek Vishnu's protection. So he went to Vishnu. I mean, he had so much mystic power that he could even go to Vishnu's planet. Vaikuntha. He could go to Vishnu. And he sought shelter of Vishnu. Vishnu also refused to give him protection. The others could not protect him because they were incapable of protecting him. So the point is that none of the devatas can protect anyone against death or against Vishnu's displeasure. If somebody offends Vishnu and then they want to escape punishment from Vishnu, none of the devatas can do anything to help the offender. So, this is the defect in the ignorance or misunderstanding of the common people, non-devotees. That because they are speculators or they are followers of the Mayavada philosophy, so they make this big mistake of equating the powerful devatas of this world to the transcendental Supreme Lord, Krishna or Vishnu or Narayana. So here it is clearly explained by Prabhupada in the purport that it is not that Krishna excused the miscreant Kauravas who were harassing the Pandavas and who tried to even kill the Pandavas but were unsuccessful because Krishna was always protecting the Pandavas. But still, Krishna did not immediately kill the Kauravas. So what's the reason? So Prabhupada explains that the Lord always wants to see his devotee as the hero of some episode which he himself performs. The battle of Kurukshetra was arranged by Krishna. And he had come specifically on the request of the Devatas, especially Bhudevi, that she felt overburdened by the demoniac kings. So she wanted relief from this excessive burden. And therefore, the Supreme Lord appeared in order to reduce this burden of the earth. And this reducing the burden by killing these burdensome demons began when Krishna was on the lap of his mother, just about 10 days old. One Putana, associate of Kamsa, Rakshasi, she came to kill Krishna. And Krishna simply sucked out her life air while apparently she was trying to poison Krishna by feeding him her breast milk, which was poisonous, actually. So Krishna simply sucked out her life air and instantly killed her. So right from his time of appearance, just at the time of appearance, till the battle of Kurukshetra, just before the battle of Kurukshetra, before that, Krishna kept on killing the various demons, all the demoniac followers also. Krishna kept on killing. But as regards the Pandavas, even though they were harassed by this demoniac-natured Duryodhana and his brothers, still Krishna did not immediately kill. So that's because Krishna wanted to make a shortcut of his mission to kill the miscreants. He assembled all of them in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And even in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Krishna could have killed them immediately. But then Krishna wants to see his devotee as the hero of the battle. And he actually arranged this battle, and he had actually already arranged for the killing of the Kauravas in the form of Kala. Whether somebody is killed by the Supreme Lord or they are killed by some agent of the Supreme Lord like Durga or Shiva or Indra. In any case, even if a demon or a miscreant is not apparently killed by some other personality, there is always this death due to the force of Kala, which is awaiting everybody, anyone who has taken birth in this material world, again under the force of or influence of the same Kala. It's Kala which forces us to take birth, and Kala which will force us to die. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityuhu dhruvam janma mritasya cha. So Kala is always there. And therefore, even though the Kauravas were more powerful, and even though the Kauravas apparently were having upper hand while the fighting was actually going on, even before the battle began, Krishna showed Arjuna that actually, why are you hesitating to fight, thinking it is sinful or it is going to create so many further problems. I have already killed all of them as Kala. So you can just take all the credit by becoming the immediate cause of killing them. So Krishna wants to give credit to his devotee. And therefore, because he wanted to make Arjuna the hero of the battle of Kurukshetra, he assembled all these miscreants and burdensome demons who had survived somehow till the battle of Kurukshetra. So all the remaining demons, he assembled them on the battlefield of Kurukshetra and engaged the Pandavas in killing them. Actually, he himself had arranged for their killing as Kala. But for the ordinary person, it looked like they all died because the Pandavas fought very bravely, very expertly, and killed all of them. So, as Prabhupada says, this is the only reason why Krishna was waiting to punish these Kauravas, even though he could have punished much earlier. So the point is that Krishna's activities or Krishna's personality or Krishna's attributes cannot be understood except by the devotees. Nobody else can understand. And even we, even though we are devotees, we cannot speculate or we cannot simply engage in some theoretical study of the scriptures and understand Krishna, the personality of Godhead, by our scholarship, by severe austerities, by pious activities. No way we can understand Krishna. That's not the way to understand Krishna. Only way is actually to engage in pure devotional service under the guidance and protection and complete shelter of a bona fide spiritual master, a pure devotee spiritual master. And therefore, Prabhupada is giving the explanation here, and this is the only way we can understand why Krishna did not immediately kill the Kauravas, and he waited. Yes, any question? Difficulty comes, obstacle comes in our own devotional service. It's not justice delay. See, the whole thing is that we have to understand. Prabhupada explains that. Devatas are living. And even if somebody thinks Devatas don't have much more lifespan, then what about Brahma's lifespan? For Brahma, our 1 year is not even 1 second. It is a fraction of a second. It's a moment. So time is relative. That is the first thing. Absolute time is in the spiritual world. Here time is relative. And time creates this illusion of past, present and future. What we consider as present is only present now. The same present, let's say today is, today is 27th of June 2024. On 28th, 27th will become past. Today, 27th is present. Yesterday, 27th was future. So please try to understand what is this relative time. It creates an illusion of past, present and future. And anyway, even if somebody thinks that, okay, it may not be something like past, present or future, but still, the very material existence itself is simply an effect of the illusory energy which is sometimes manifesting this whole creation and sometimes unmanifest. Just like those who know that we have to die, then they think, okay, before death comes, let me enjoy as much as possible. Or some pious people, they think, oh, on the earth, the facilities for enjoyment are not as good. So let me try to enjoy on the heavenly planets, where there are much, 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 much better facilities, longer lifespan. So then they promote themselves through the Vedic methods to take birth on the heavenly planets. And on the heavenly planets they try to enjoy, but on the heavenly planets also they realize that time is relative. When we are in the human body, it seems like the Devatas have got a much longer lifespan. But when we are in the Devata's body, like Prabhupada says, each and every creature lives its 100 years. An ant may live just for a few hours, but within those few hours, in its limited, tiny brain, it thinks, now 100 years of mine, I have to do this, next this, next this, next this. So all those different phases of activity, it is there in ant's life also. It is also born, Shadvikara of the body. Comes into existence when we say somebody has taken birth, the body comes into existence. Then there is growth, and then there is after growth phase some sustenance. It remains for some time. then produces some byproducts, then dwindles and vanishes. 6 phases. So all these 6 phases, everybody goes through, whether it is an insignificant ant or even Brahma. Everybody goes through these 6 phases. Shad Vikar. So, Shastra says, even though Brahma's position is very unique compared to everybody else's position, that Brahma was born directly from Vishnu. Brahma doesn't have a spiritual body. Brahma also has a material body. But he was born directly from Vishnu. And Brahma, in that position as Brahma, it's a post. Right? Brahma is sitting in a post called the post of Brahma. So, that post, for everyone else within this material world, there are different posts, including the Devatas, other than Brahma and Shiva, other than Brahma and Shiva, all other Devatas, they don't have a permanent post. Only Brahma, Shiva and Vishnu. Vishnu is not a post, but even if you consider Vishnu is one of the Devatas in charge of maintenance of this material world, then Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva have permanent post. So Brahma is unique in that way, that Shiva is not a Jiva, Vishnu is not Jiva, Brahma is a Jiva. Like all of us, we are all Jivas. Brahma is also a Jiva. But Brahma's post or position is permanent. But then again, this material world, nothing is permanent. So as long as Brahma lives, he can enjoy. Like the Karmis think, as long as I live, let me enjoy. Brahma actually is able to do that. Enjoy that post and position, he is secure. No demon can attack Brahma, can kill Brahma, can take Brahma's position. No. So, in spite of that, Bhagavatam says, even Brahma is afraid of death. Because even Brahma has to die, of course. Brahma has to die. But even Brahma, he is the most knowledgeable person. He was personally instructed by Vishnu in the entire Vedic wisdom. And still, obviously, Brahma is the most knowledgeable person in the whole creation, among created beings. But even Brahma is afraid of death. That is because of the influence of Kala. It is Kala which infuses the fear of death in everyone, including the learned Vedic scholars, including wise philosophers. They are also afraid of death. So, therefore, you should understand this Kala as simply an illusory effect of one of the features or energies of the Supreme Lord, the impersonal energy. So, a devotee understands that when we seek shelter of Krishna or protection of Krishna, as devotees, we should have the faith that because I am a devotee, I am engaged in Krishna's service, I am always under Krishna's protection as a devotee. And apparently, Krishna is not giving me protection, but that's not true. That's how it appears like. It appears like that. But the reality is, nobody can do any harm to a devotee. Neither the devotee has to suffer any of his previous karma. Devotees are completely free from the previous reactions due to previous activities before they became devotees. In fact, the scriptures say, when one takes initiation from a bona fide spiritual master, the spiritual master completely frees him from all sinful reactions. This is a fact. It's a 100% fact. Then why do devotees apparently have to suffer some disease or some difficulty or some danger? Why? So it is not due to their past karma. It is actually Krishna who takes charge of the devotee's life, will allow some things like some disease to attack the body or some difficulty. Even in our doing devotional service, even in our performance of devotional service, there will be some difficulties, obstacles, dangers, some confusion, some bewilderment, some misunderstanding. So many things happen in a devotee's life. All that is allowed by Krishna only, and it is directly under Krishna's control that it is happening. It is not the external energy, it is the internal energy. Devotees always are under the protection of the internal potency. Devotees are never under the shelter of the external energy, even in the material world. Even before they become liberated completely. Even before that. So then the question may be asked, why should Krishna not immediately free the devotee from all the suffering, all the difficulties? Because Krishna wants to accomplish his mission of, somebody taking to devotional service and becoming his pure devotee on the pure devotional path under the protection, guidance, and blessings of a pure devotee spiritual master. Why should there be any delay in a devotee's life in executing the mission of the Lord? That is because Krishna's real project is not the project that we have taken up. Krishna's project is only one. That he wants us to actually become completely purified of all our material desires, our material attachments, our material plans, our material ambitions. See, our heart has got two kinds of contaminations. One perspective of analyzing our material contamination in the heart. One kind of contamination is the load of sinful reactions we are carrying, which we have not yet suffered due to our past sinful activities. And as you know, all the sinful activities are not completely suffered by a jiva in one lifetime. All the past sinful reactions. So, in this body, according to Kala, some reactions I will have to suffer. Then what about the remaining reactions? I carry forward to the next life. So, these reactions are one kind of contamination, material contamination. And that's our own past sinful activities. These reactions are not due to Krishna. Okay? It's all our own past sinful activities. Then, another kind of material contamination in our heart is our material desires for enjoyment in this world. Understand this carefully. Two kinds of material contamination. Material reactions from our own past sinful activities and material desires, which is again our own. My desires are my own desires. So, these material desires, even when we take to pure devotional service, Krishna will not destroy our material desires. Krishna will not destroy. Krishna will destroy all our sinful reactions. And he says that directly in the Bhagavad Gita. You surrender to me, aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. And for a devotee who takes shelter of pure devotee by taking diksha, the pure devotee will destroy all the sinful reactions at the time of diksha. But what remains is our material desires for enjoyment in this world. So how will these material desires go away? They'll only go away when we let go. See, we are holding on to these material desires under the same misconception that these material desires are meant for my ultimate satisfaction, my ultimate happiness, my well-being. They're meant for me. So this is a complete misconception. So we have to let go these material desires. That's why material attachments won't go simply by merely doing what we are supposed to do in devotional service. There is a need for our conscious giving up. As long as we don't want to give up some attachment or some material desire for achieving something material in this world, Krishna will not interfere. Krishna will not interfere. So therefore, the process of bhakti is, you should voluntarily perform the devotional service. And voluntarily, not only voluntarily means you agree, but you agree within the core of your heart. Not superficially, yes, I'll do. But in the core of your heart, you think, I don't want to do. That's why sometimes you experience, and I've also experienced, all of us have experienced, that we want to do some service, but somehow we are not able to do that service. Simple thing. We all want to chant without any distraction. We want to fully absorb our mind in chanting. And we do put a lot of effort for it. But why is it not happening? What is the reason? And why the distraction? So much of distraction during the time of chanting japa. It's because within the core of our heart, from our past association with this material world and our past plans for enjoying, we have got so many desires and plans and attachments developed. And we are holding on to them. After taking to devotional service, also we hold on to them, thinking that they are all spiritual desires. Because after taking devotional service, we understand something is material desire, something is material, contamination, material obstacle. Immediately we give up. Correct? Very obvious. Like I was so attached to my family, but moment I became a little serious in devotional service, I gave up that family. Devotees give up their job, their career, their wealth. Not easy to give up. Of course, there is the mercy of the pure devotee spiritual master and Krishna. But why we are not able to give up this business of indulging in the mind those distractions? It is because we are attached to them. And why are we attached to them? Which are unnecessary obstacle in our devotional service of chanting proper japa. It's because we have a misconception that those are all meant for my spiritual advancement. Just like I want to build a nice temple for Krishna. Okay? So I have got my own idea how I am going to do it. What type of temple will it be? What design? What this? So many details can be there, no? Building a temple is not a small thing. So, if I don't seek Krishna's direction, okay, I want to build a temple for Krishna. First question I should ask as a proper devotee is, does Krishna want me to build a temple for him? So if the answer is yes, then okay. Then I'll do it. The answer is no, Krishna doesn't want you to build a temple for him. Then why do you want to build a temple? So in the case of building a temple, yes, Prabhupada says we should build nice temples for Krishna. And it's not my desire, okay. It's the instruction and Prabhupada's desire, okay, fine. But then, what kind of temple, how big a temple? Are you checking whether it is you want to build a big temple or you want to build some particular design of a temple? Or is it Krishna's wish or Krishna's desire? You see? So pure devotional service is to serve Krishna favorably, which means always the devotee wants to serve Krishna by asking Krishna, how can I serve you? What service I can do for you? You see? So therefore, even when a devotee desires to do some seva, instead of thinking, I like to do this seva, the devotee should think, what seva can I do for the Lord? What seva can I do? You see? So this is the confidential understanding that you should have. That pure devotional service means not merely doing some service to Krishna, even without expectation of any result or benefit or any gain, even without speculating. That alone doesn't make it pure devotional service. That's why you see the definition of pure devotional service given by Sri Rupa Goswami is complete and perfect. What is it? Anya abhilashita shunyam, without any other desire, with the exclusive desire of serving Krishna, of rendering pure devotional service to Krishna. Jnana karmadi anavritam, means without any fruitive intention to get some material benefit of any form, and without any mental speculation. Further, anukulyena krishnanushilanam. Anukulya. So that's the third thing. So even if a devotee, he wants to do some particular seva, if he is questioned, why do you want to do this seva? No, Prabhu, I am not doing this seva for getting any benefit from doing this seva. No. And I am not going to speculate how to do it. Not my speculation. The way you tell me to do it, I'll do it. The way my spiritual authorities guide me, I'm going to do that. So that alone is not pure devotional service. What the devotee may not consider or may not reveal is that he's doing it because he likes to do that, or he wants to do it. He wants to do it. So that is the material contamination in that desire. Even though that desire is actually translating into real devotional service, practical devotional service. And it is without any desire for some material gain, without speculation, Still, because he has got that liking for it, or he wants to do it, it is prompted by his false ego. I want to do it. I. So therefore, here clearly it is said, Krishna wants his devotee to be the hero, take the credit for those things which he himself does. In the spiritual world, nobody has anything to do. Why? Because Krishna does everything. And how does Krishna do? Through his internal potency. Even he does not personally do in that sense. His internal energy will carry out everything. So neither the devotee nor Krishna actually does anything. But still, because it is Krishna's internal energy, whatever is carried out by the internal energy according to the will of Krishna, that is done by Krishna. That's to be considered, understood as done by Krishna. So Krishna does everything. But the credit goes to the devotee. Credit always goes to the devotee. How does credit go to the devotee? And devotee does nothing. Still credit goes to the devotee. How can credit go to the devotee? So Krishna, instrument, yes. Krishna says, Arjuna, you become my instrument and take the credit. And why does Krishna make the devotee the instrument? Because Krishna wants to give the credit to the devotee. Krishna wants to give devotee the credit. He doesn't want to take any credit. So this is the dynamics of pure devotional service, you should understand. Criticism comes. Yes, ready to take. Because criticism, why you have to take when Krishna wants to actually give you credit and doesn't want to, put you down or anything. It's because this is the stage of purification. Only for the sake of purification, Krishna allows some devotee to get sometimes sick. Hypothetically, let's consider that Krishna, as soon as you surrender to Krishna through, of course, taking Diksha from the pure devotee, spiritual master, and you seriously agree to engage in pure devotional service under his guidance, at that time, all your sinful reactions are completely nullified. Then after you begin actually doing devotional service, then why should Krishna, hypothetically, let us say, if Krishna will not give you any more, allow any more bodily suffering or mental anxiety, nothing, then for you, life in this body, in this world, is as good as Vaikuntha. As good as Vaikuntha. Then what if the devotee thinks, why should I go back to Godhead? That's our tendency, no? To settle down here comfortably, very peacefully, very nicely. For karmis, it is simply a hopeless hope. It never happens. They make all arrangements to settle down comfortably, peacefully, nicely. Suddenly death comes and everything is over. At the most, they can stretch that idea till death. That I am living healthy life. All my responsibilities I have completed. My daughter is well settled, my son is well settled, and I and my wife are living very peacefully. We are living a sattvic life. Somehow we don't have any diabetes, we don't have high blood pressure, we don't have any disease, we don't have any problems. But death comes and finishes up. So for a devotee, anyway, if he is taken seriously to devotional service and Krishna has nullified all the problems pertaining to body, mind, all these problems, everything, then what if the devotee thinks, what is the need to go back to Godhead? Let me permanently live here. That's the greatest danger for our spiritual life. That's the greatest danger. So therefore, we should get convinced that material existence, whether in happiness or in distress, is actually only distress. It's only suffering. Dukkhalayam, alayam means filled with dukkha. So then what could be the dukkha for a devotee who's engaged in devotional service and he doesn't have to suffer any material pains, or because Krishna has taken away all that, because you're a devotee. It is the real suffering in this material world. If you understand all other kinds of suffering is illusory, you're not the body, you're not the mind, you're spirit soul, pure spirit soul. Still there is a suffering in this world, in material existence. What is it? Separation from Krishna. Separation from Krishna. So ultimately, a devotee wants to take to pure devotional service and become fully Krishna conscious, not exactly for transferring himself from this material world to the spiritual world, Krishna's personal abode in the spiritual sky, but to actually re-establish his loving connection with Krishna, which he has temporarily lost due to forgetfulness. Then, after he is reconnected, he is actually in the spiritual world. Whether he is in the material world or the spiritual world, he is actually in the spiritual world only. He is not in the material world. Okay? So did I answer your question?
Maybe we'll take it up later or something. Because the material mind thinks, like from these analogies what we gave and Pandava's example which Vidura is giving, it seems like Ambarish Maharaj got immediate this thing because he is an emperor.
Ambarish Maharaj is not in need of the lesson that he has to undergo some suffering, okay, so that he'll realize material world is dukkhalayam shashvatam. He has already got over that misconception, cleared. Of course, the Pandavas are pure devotees, they don't have any misconceptions, but they are made the instruments for us to understand. Like Arjuna was put into illusion by Krishna, so that Arjuna could ask those questions for our benefit, and Krishna could actually enlighten Arjuna, through Arjuna enlighten us. Similarly, the Pandavas, they undergo suffering, and Krishna is showing, see my devotees. In spite of being my devotee, they have to suffer. And in spite of undergoing suffering, their bhakti is only increasing. Narad Muni actually met Krishna when the Pandavas were in exile. And he said, Krishna, what kind of... it is a real mystery for me, Narad Muni is telling Krishna, that these Pandavas, they are your devotees. And they are undergoing so much suffering. But every time they undergo suffering, their bhakti only increases. Never the same, and does not decrease. So what kind of devotees are these? It's a big mystery for me. Of course, Narad Muni is putting it in a way, materialists will think, what kind of devotee the Pandavas? There's some sentimental, foolish people. That God is doing nothing to, reduce their suffering or relieve them from their suffering. They only are getting into more and more suffering. Mahabharata, somebody who studies, So, the pure devotional service is on a transcendental platform. Everything material is happening on a platform of the three gunas. It's no existence at all. Material existence is no real existence. It is an illusory existence. Why in illusion you want either suffering or happiness? It's like a child asking parents for some illusory money. And the parents say, I can't give you more, I'll give you only some. It doesn't make any sense. Illusory money, whether it is 5 rupees or 5 million rupees, the same thing. I don't know whether you remember, when I was a kid, we used to play that Vyapar. There were so many currencies, and we would fight with each other how much currency we are going to get in the initial to start the Vyapar, Everybody will be laughing, no? Why is this child asking for more as if it has got more value? It's like that. So asking for happiness, material happiness, and asking for relief from material distress is actually ridiculous. Neither of them belong to the soul. Neither of them are on the spiritual platform. That means we want to continue on the illusory platform because of our misconception of it being real enjoyment. That's what it means. Okay, we'll stop here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.